Gegroet Toxers en andere YouTube-kijkende aardbewoners. Mijn naam is Togy en vandaag gaan wij dingen zien die we pas de eerste keer in ons leven zullen zien.
This unusual creature is so translucent that you can see its entire respiratory system as it breathes. The Brazilian skipper caterpillar blends in with its green surroundings by presenting its own innards as the veins of the leaf it sits upon. This protects the insect from hungry birds as it prepares to transform into a beautiful butterfly. And I bet it's a real hide-and-seek champ. It's hard to believe the so-called dragon eggs or euperlites in these images haven't come straight from a movie. But you can probably find one yourself if you look hard enough. These odd-looking rocks were first discovered in Michigan, USA, and possess an extraordinary ability to glow like molten lava, despite being cold to the touch. This is because they contain the mineral sodalite, which glows under UV light in a magnificent display of...
Kan je dat ook gewoon... ja, je kan ze vinden. Euperlites met... hoe heet dat spul nou wat erin zit?
Sodalite.
Sodalite. Euperlite bevat sodalite. En daardoor geeft het dus licht. En het ziet er echt gewoon heet uit gewoon. Maar ja, zo te zien is dat het niet, want hij pakt hem gewoon met zijn blote handen vast.
What you're seeing here isn't an ocean full of post-it notes, but...
dat lijkt wel op post-it notes.
The huge school of cow-nosed rays captured by drones off Bondi Beach in Australia.
Cow-nosed rays?
These majestic creatures...
rays, roggen, ja, dat zijn roggen.
Exist through the western Atlantic and Caribbean and often migrate north in giant herds in late spring. From above, they look like impressive mosaic artwork.
Yo, dan kunnen ze gewoon de Mona Lisa maken van roggen. Dat is ziek.
The fabled fish tube pictured here is a viral sensation, which is actually a pretty nifty invention for migrating salmon. The system, also dubbed the salmon cannon, helps native fish pass over dams in seconds rather than days as they are safely transported over land by a pneumatic tube using air pressure. The whole thing must be either super fun or hella confusing for the fish who find themselves inside though.
Ja, het is een soort glijbaan, jongen. Een soort waterglijbaan voor de vissen.
Say the woods can be a scary place, but who knew plants these could be the ghouls in hiding?
Wat zijn dat? Yo.
The spooky-looking Monotropa uniflora.
Monotropa uniflora.
Or ghost plant.
Ghost plant is makkelijker en het ziet er meer uit als een geestplant.
Doesn't rely on sunlight to survive as it contains no chlorophyll. Instead, it acts as a parasite by zapping the energy of photosynthetic trees, while it can grow in complete darkness, where its waxy white appearance lends its ghostly name.
Het ziet er echt creepy uit,
It's not just plants and animals with unusual talents. Check out the woman who cries crystal tears. It's not as glamorous as it sounds, according to Miss Kazarian, as these painful glass-like tears are more of a curse than a blessing. Researchers initially believed her to be suffering from a rare medical condition similar to cystinosis, which causes a buildup of crystal-like substance, but recently foul play has been discussed due to their sheer size.
Je zou maar glas huilen. Nou, deze vrouw huilt diamanten, dus ik weet niet of dat nou heel veel beter is.
Either way, this is one bizarre, unheard of ability.
En het ziet er nog goor uit ook als je het eruit wil halen.
Some say if cats had thumbs, they'd rule the world. Well, we'd better move over because that time has finally come. A genetic anomaly called polydactyl can cause thumbs in many animals, but feline thumbs are especially common, and they look far less menacing than you might imagine. Take Bronson, for example, the 33-pound viral rescue cat.
Dat is echt één dikke kat.
Who may or may not have been using his thumbs to open the kitchen cupboards. Freaky fingers aren't so uncommon, and polydactyly causing...
Ja, nou, die rechte foto die is nep. Ja, waarschijnlijk die linker ook trouwens.
Extra digits affects many from the subtle to the downright ridiculous. But how many people own a thumb this?
12,7 centimeter duim. Wat moet je ermee? Wat moet je met zo'n lange duim?
Is big. Surprisingly, this isn't Photoshop, as an American teen truly has an unexplainable 5-inch thumb. But with this weapon, I'm sure he's a thumb war world champ. Holograms seem like something from a distant future. But what if I told you they even exist in desktop form? This is the Looking Glass, designed by 40 Views Volumetric Capture Company, a successful Kickstarter invention which puts holographic technology at the fingertips of 3D designers. The device creates 45 separate views of a 3D model, replicating it using a special lens to create a working hologram. which can be then analyzed from all angles. Pretty neat, right?
Dat is ziek. Dat is echt vet.
Check out this video in which the forest floor appears to be breathing. While most plants breathe through photosynthesis, this human-like respiration has boggled the minds of many. Surprisingly, this forest in Quebec was simply reacting to the push and pull of some seriously strong winds, which dislodged the root system of the young trees from their mossy surroundings, creating a seemingly sentient woodland.
Oh, wow. Ik dacht eerst misschien komt het door zo'n soort luchtbel heb onder de grond.
A human-sized burrito sounds tasty, but not so much when you're inside it, and it's not a food item at all. In fact, this interesting invention has been designed to protect motorcyclists in the event of a crash by releasing an inflating airbag which would envelop the entire body. The prototype is officially known as the airbag for bike, but the human burrito seems a more suitable name. Plus, it could lead to a range of food-related safety equipment. Imagine walking around an art museum and knocking over an intricate sculpture of a Roman bust, only to find it does this. This melting effect is the work of Chinese paper sculptor Li Hongbo, who is known for his stunning stretchable sculptures, which look like stone or even wood at first glance. Each artwork is meticulously crafted using thousands of stacked sheets of paper glued in a honeycomb structure, which can be manipulated like liquid. Just imagine a room where everything was a Li Hongbo sculpture. There's some strange plants in the world, but this African piranha plant has got to be up there with the best. It's not hard to see where the menacing plant gets its name, but the weirdness doesn't stop there. Like the ghost plant, it doesn't photosynthesize, but feeds on the roots of other plants. With no leaves, the piranha plant has only a bizarre red cantaloupe-like flower, which also stinks of fresh feces as it attempts to attract dung beetles to pollinate it. It may look like a Super Mario plant come to life, but you certainly wouldn't want to own one of these yourself.
Nou, je wil zeker ook niet zo'n Mario plant in je huis hebben.
Sticking with weird plants, check out this bizarre Welwitschia plant from...
Yo, die is gigantisch.
This massive lump of withered leaves is actually a totally healthy plant.
Ja, jullie ook even abonneren even op mijn kanaal en doe een duimpje omhoog op deze video.
Which uses its large, continually growing leaves to collect fog in the early morning hours. The Welwitschia produces coniferous cones rather than flowers and has existed since the dinosaur age, making it a true living fossil. Lone tumbleweed rolling down the street has always been an entertaining sight. But residents of this California town were certainly not amused when an invasion of tumbleweed descended on their homes in 2018. The high desert town of Victorville was overrun by the prickly plants during strong winds which broke the stems of the dead Russian thistle, sending them scattering in the town's direction. Residents used pitchforks to try and remove them, and reportedly some were even trapped in their homes. It's the new snow day. What you're looking at here is neither a digitally censored rock nor one of those creepers from Minecraft, but a precious gemstone called Congo tourmaline. The stone has been intricately cut so that each surface reflects its surroundings, giving the impression that the entire object has been blurred using software. Just imagine dropping this valuable stone in the grass. Most colors come in different shades, but who knew there was a shade of black to beat the rest? Vanta Black, shown here, is a material created by Surrey Nanosystems in the UK, which is one of the darkest substances known to man.
Het zwartste zwart.
It's so dark that 3D objects coated in it appear completely flat when viewed head-on, and even a flat shape can appear deceptively deep. Case in point, this 8-foot art installation, which looks like a cartoon hole. This video shows Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, which suffers lightning strikes almost every day. But there's plenty you may not know about this natural phenomenon. Lightning strikes can leave behind some impressive patterns when electric currents vaporize the moisture underground, marking it like the skin of those unfortunate enough to be struck. When lightning strikes sand, it's a whole different story.
Op de grond dan, niet op je lichaam. Dat is niet zo ziek. Dat is meer pijnlijk, lijkt mij. Ik ben nog nooit geraakt door bliksem. Laten we hopen dat dat ook niet gebeurt. 1800
degrees Celsius heat fuses the sand and silica to produce glass-lined tubes known as fulgurite or petrified lightning, which can be dug up like fossils. Freak weather can also create a deadly fire tornado, which may sound extreme, but is actually a very real thing. This natural occurrence is common in bushfires when a flaming tree or grassland is swept up into a tornado, which wreaks havoc as it burns its way through everything in its path. Canadian firefighters ran into trouble in 2018 when their hose was sucked into a fire NATO in which they were unable to put out. But hey, one eager billionaire even had his own personal fire tornado installed at his Las Vegas mansion.
Holy shit,
Have you
dat
ever
is echt
seen
wel
a
ziek, hoor.
glow-in-the-dark shark? Scientists in
Ja, ik heb er wel eens van gehoord volgens mij. Maar dat weet ik niet zeker.
2019 were finally able to answer the baffling questions behind this unusual talent discovered when researchers using special lighting to study biofluorescent coral happened upon the luminous green fish. The secret was not that the sharks had been genetically modified for science like these kittens, but that they cleverly absorbed blue light from the ocean and re-emitted it as green light to prevent bacteria from growing on their skin. If you're a dog lover, the land of the strays will likely be your idea of heaven. This rescue facility in Costa Rica,
Zo.
otherwise known as Torito Rio de Zaguates, is a
Dat
safe
zijn
haven
aardig
for
wat
almost
honden.
1,000 stray dogs who are free to enjoy the 378 acres of tropical mountain land which they call home. Visitors and volunteers can walk and play with the canine companions, and almost every dog is up for adoption, so it'd be hard to leave empty-handed. The giant wolf eel photographed here can be a terrifying sight, but even
Wat
more
is
so
dat?
once you know the extent of their diet. The creature's strong teeth allow it to chomp through red sea urchins, and if they get through
Zo.
enough of them, their teeth start to resemble rose quartz stones. You
Oeh.
wouldn't want to run into this guy down a dark alley. Moving is a
Nee,
laborious
maar het is een vis, dus ik denk als hij in de dark alley tegenkomt dat hij het niet overleeft. Maar ja.
process, but consider this. It was tradition in Malaysian villages for communities to move entire wooden houses by lifting and carrying them to their next destination. To revive this for the younger generation, villagers of Kampong Labu Kabong transported a 150-year-old house by hand in 2018. This technique has also been used by the Amish community, and boy does it look like hard
What?
work. This photo
Wat is dit? Deze kei die groeit gewoon een boom op zijn hoofd.
It might seem like a real-life nightmare fairy tale, but this 74-year-old farmer really did have a 4-inch devil horn sprouting from his head. The
Oh, dat is zo'n devilhorn. Yo.
growth began when he bumped his head 5 years prior, but Indian surgeons had to remove it after the man's barber could no longer shave it down for him. These keratin horns can be linked to sunlight and radiation exposure, and those
Dat lijkt me
bestowed
echt
with
naar
one
om te
or
hebben.
two often look like they're wearing prosthetics.
Dames en heren, dat was het dan weer voor deze video. Ik heb een rommat aan mijn duim hangen. Abonneer je op mijn kanaal en ik zie jullie volgende week weer. Later.